trip down memory lane. Alright, Mum, I'll be in with you in a minute.
Right. Sorry, Aaron, we were helping Lewis with his homework.
That's alright, I'll be in a minute.
Right, then.
Alright. This is where my mum lives. This is where I grew up from the age, well, from when I was born till the age of 13 before I went into care, boarding school, so on and so forth. This bit here, this is my mum's house. She's a bit of a ghetto snob, really, that's what I call her. She's proper proud because she's the only one, because all of these are council houses, she's the only one that actually owns hers. Can you tell? Look, she's even done hers white.
Just to stand out.
Yeah. This bit here, right? Me and Ollie were just having a conversation. I said there's a story. I've had fights on every fucking corner. Right there, had a fight right there. Got me my push bike nicked. I had a fight over there. Every bit of this street and this estate, there's a story. But here is especially special. I'm going to tell you something. So you know my brother Calvin, right?
Yeah.
Calvin's about 36.
Yeah.
I never knew he was my brother. I never knew Harry was my brother.
Really?
I actually grew up. Me and Calvin used to hang out every day, yeah, and I used to think he was my best friend. I weren't allowed to know that he was my brother, and I wasn't allowed to know my dad was my dad, because my mum. Listen, everyone's made mistakes. Me and Mum have had our issues before, but we're okay now. But back then, she was very angry at my dad because he cheated on her with the next door neighbour just there and run off. Right? She no longer lives there, obviously. My mum would have stabbed her. But because of that, she was very angry at him. So I was never allowed to know who my dad was, and I was never allowed to know who my brothers were, because me and my brothers have the same dad but different mum. But my mum and Calvin's mum, who passed away last year, my Auntie Lynn, well, I call her Auntie, she's like a family friend, but those two were like best friends. Follow me on this one. Anyway, me and Calvin used to hang out every day, and I used to think Calvin was my best friend. It was when I was 9 years old. A lad right here wanted to borrow my push bike, and then run off my push bike, and his mate wanted to fight me. Anyway, he was a lot bigger than me, and I was losing. And he had me up against here, right? And I think it was my sister or somebody running, told Calvin, someone was beating up Aaron. Calvin come running out, right? Got hold of the guy. I remember it, I'm like this. Calvin got hold of the guy, grabbed him, boom, like that. Up against the wall, right? But by the scruff of the neck. Calvin lost it. And Calvin said, if you ever touch my brother again, I'll fucking kill you. Calvin knew I was his brother. I didn't know. And I remember being like this. Brother? What are you on about, brother? And that was the day I found out that my brother was my brother. Right here.
Against the wall.
Against this wall. So yeah, Calvin knew he was my brother, but he wasn't allowed to tell me. And that day he got a bollocking from the whole family because he just let this secret out. And then I think that week, social services, because I was in trouble all the time at school, I was under a social services scheme, and they were the ones that told me who my dad was. I used to see my dad because I used to go up to London to see my nan, and obviously she would let me see my dad sneakily without my mum knowing. But in order to do that without my mum finding out and without Nan getting in trouble, I used to have to call my dad Uncle Ian. So I knew my dad, but I didn't know he was my dad. I used to think that my Uncle Ian taking me out for pizza was my Uncle Ian. Then I found out that my Uncle Ian was actually my dad. That's what happened. Right there.
All there.
Yeah.
Just bringing back the memories.
It's a bit of a fucked up family history, isn't it? On that note, let's go
You
see
said
my
it.
mum.